So I'll give you a little break to have a sip while I tell you what I've started this week.
All right.
I have started. Start sipping.
All right.
I have started the video game. Thank goodness you're here.
Like, thank God you're here, the show?
No. But that's what I thought as well when I saw the title for the first time. This is a little game. It's think Untitled Goose Game, but British and funny and jokes and stuff.
Isn't that? Oh no, Untitled Goose Game is Australian and funny and jokes and stuff.
Yeah, but this one's rude.
Okay.
This one has funny and rude jokes. So this is a game made by Cole Supper, and they're a British game studio. It has some fun voice actors. Most notably, it has Matt Berry as one of the characters.
Very notable.
You played Untitled Goose Game, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, great. So you
Couldn't pass the first level.
it's not a complicated game.
I know, it has like 2 mechanics. Honk and pick up.
That's similar to this one.
I didn't know what order to do them in. I kept picking things up and the farmer would catch me and I'd honk and it's like, no, that's too late. I go somewhere and honk, he'd walk over there, I go pick something up. He still sees me, motherfucker.
This one's similar. Like it's the 2 main mechanics are jumping and hitting.
Nice.
Which is
At least you get to hit something.
Is great for a puzzle game of this sort, and it's similar to Untitled Goose Game. It's in. I'm really good. I don't know. That's the most comparable thing because you're set in this little town, in somewhere in fucking England, and you're a little guy. Like you're noticeably smaller than everyone else, and the setup is you've been brought in to have some sort of meeting with the mayor, but when you get to the mayor's office. The mayor's assistant says, fuck off, mayor's not ready. Go bugger around the town for a while. And so you bugger around the town for a while. And you meet a fun cast of characters. And
you hit them.
You do hit them. You can hit everyone. You can hit everything. But often when you find someone, you sort of slowly progress through the town. But there's particular characters that when you see them, they'll say, oh, thank goodness you're here. I need help with this thing.
Oh, like thank God you're here.
Yes, thank God you're here. And it sort of sets up your a little kind of quest for you to do to solve that error and move on to the next one. Like, I don't know. The one of the stores is shut because the one of the workers lost the key, so they're waiting for the locksmith. So you're like, let me go around and find the locksmith.
And hit him.
And and you hit him. Yes. But he's too busy. He's trying to get his morning drink in, his second morning drink at the pub. So you go in, but then the drinks are a bit flat, so you need to shake the kegs. But so to do that, you have to go downstairs through the pipes and then you just hit the kegs.
You hit them?
You hit them.
Yes.
Everything in this. Okay, you really seem fascinated by this hitting mechanic.
Yep.
So can I tell you a bit about the hitting mechanic?
Yes.
It's like I said, it's a bit rude. Like every time you hit a person, it sounds like a slap. And often because you're a small little guy, you're kind of spanking them a lot of the time. But when you hit them, that'll trigger them to like say something, so they might have a bit of dialogue. Then if you keep hitting them, they'll eventually just go, no, no, no. But when you hit any object in this game, basically everything in this game has a default state and then like a hit state. Like you'll have a trash bag, and if you hit it, then it'll burst open. Or you will have a stack of cans, and if you hit it, then it'll be knocked over. So everything has a hit state, and sometimes this game has a bit of platforming as well. So it's in this 2D style. Yeah, 2D style, but it's not always. Sometimes it's completely 2D, and then sometimes you can move, like there's depth. You can move in
2.5D.
2.5D. Yeah, exactly. But in the platforming bits, like I was doing a bit just before where I was going kind of through a landfill. It was near a river, and there was just a bunch of trash dumped there. This town is awful. Like, it's not bad. Everyone seems vaguely nice, and it seems cutesy, and it seems British, whatever. But there's, like, litter everywhere. The amount of cigarettes on the ground is crazy. And you have, like, there's this one character who's, like, the litter person, and is just picking up litter. He's like, I just love picking up litter. I pick it up, but then the next day it'll be back. That's weird. I'm fine with it because I love picking up litter. So I was going through this like trash bit and I couldn't make a jump because you only have one single jump height. And I just hit like I was on, I don't know, like probably like an old sofa or an old mattress or something. And then in front of me was a stove. And I couldn't jump on top of the stove, and then I hit the stove and then the grill tray, because it's one of those white stoves with a grill tray up the top. You hit that and that drops down, and then so everything has like a hit state.
How small are you?
Very small.
Okay.
You're a small little guy.
You said that, and I kind of thought it was just small vibes, not small in stature. And then you said the thing about spanking people, and I was like, okay, so you're like maybe half height. And then you said like you have to get out the grill to get on top of the stove, and I'm like,
you're not
like
that small.
20 centimeters?
You're like 30% of a human's height.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Why didn't you start with that? Jesus.
That's how tall you are. But this is really when it comes down to it, a comedy game. And it's one of the first comedy games I've ever played, I think. It just seems so, comedy is the central factor. Everything in the game is to make you laugh. I was laughing out loud and I've only played it for a bit over an hour. It's wildly funny. Not just like the dialogue and the scenes, but it does have that. Like it's just, it's like a story-based game where, you know how in story games, like where's the action? You know, it's a walking simulator and you're hearing a story. This is like a walking simulator, but the story that's happening is funny and everything in the where you are is funny and all the background stuff is funny. And you're bombarded with British dry humor.
So it's like if every character in God of War 2018 was Mimir.
Oh, but in a funnier, cutesier way.
Yeah. Okay, great.
Yeah.
Great.
I guess so. Yeah. But it feels like an animated show. It feels a little bit Justin Roiland to a degree. Yeah. Is that the person like
you did pick the one who was cancelled, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, like a little Rick and Morty, but really not in that, like, you know, I don't know, British dry humor sort of way. But there are a bunch of jokes in the background. I was in a fish and chip shop, and it has, it has a kids menu, and the kids menu says kids menu, and then it says eat some of your mum's food. It's pretty funny.
That's good.
There's the currency in this world is bobs. Like, that's 1 bob, 2 bob, 3 bob, whatever. Except everything is 10 bob. Everywhere that you go, everything costs 10 bob, and that's pretty funny.
That's great.
There was a character that was in the park with big binoculars, so I was like, I wonder what this character's looking at. I hit the character. The character said, "Yes, I'm looking for tits."
Oh,
I was like, okay.
Oh, okay. Well, I asked.
And then I hit the character again. The character said, "Or finches. I'm not fussy."
It's a bird watching joke.
Yeah, it's a bird watching joke.
Oh, very good.
Yeah.
Very good.
Very good.
Very good.
Have you played any comedy games?
I was just thinking that. And I was also, because I think maybe no. And then I was also thinking about how, like, hard it would be to make a comedy game. Because,
Oh, sorry.
Just had some hot sauce?
I just got a big blob of hot sauce.
I think you just had a habanero there.
Yep, keep going.
I was thinking about I know obviously like stand-up comedy and other forms of comedy are a whole genre and form where you repeat the thing and you train and you refine the jokes. I get that. I'm not saying that like comedy is about being off the cuff, but I was thinking like by the end of making that game, because game development is such an repetitive, iterative, long process, you wouldn't find any of it funny anymore. So you'd have to like trust that it was and remember the sensation of coming up with it. And I guess you play tested a lot to check if people are still laughing. But yeah, I was just thinking like whoever made, what did you say his name was? The guy who made this?
Oh no, it was a company called Cole Supper.
Oh, okay. I thought that was a person's name.
No.
They would be sick of all of these jokes, but
probably
they've still persisted and made it. I was thinking what an interesting dynamic that would be. Have I played any comedy games? I don't think so. Just games that are funny.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if comedy games is really... games are an interesting medium to place comedy in because comedy, obviously really relies on timing. So good job, Donald, with the pairing up of the words at the same time there.
Yeah.
Some would say...
comedic.
Yeah.
Shit.
But it really is. So video games is difficult for that. Movies, you have control of the timing. Stand up, in person, have control of the timing. In video games, having character dialogue tell jokes, you have control of that. But this is interactive. You time when you want to go to a particular area, who you want to talk to at a given time. Some of it, is more linear, is more hallwayed. What's that called?
Siloed?
Yeah, I guess so, yeah. But then some of it isn't. There's a very funny, I found it very funny. There was a van that I saw in the game that was sort of blocking off a road, and it said something along the lines of the removal van that doesn't move, and then with quotes, "You'll never catch us moving." Now that's funny because I assume at some point that van's not going to be there and I can go into that next area, but I won't see it move out of the way. So
that's very good.
They do some fun stuff.
That's very good.
Playing on video game tropes as well, which is very good. Yeah.
And you also get a giggle out of that when you go through. You're like, they moved.
There's so many little bits where I just get giggles out of it. One of the first characters you meet has their hand stuck down a grate in the town, and they're like, "I probably need something slippery to get this out." And so you go away, and then I did something else, and then I came back, and then in that time, other characters that I'd met had gathered around, and they were all trying to help. And so by the time you help the character out, they're all there, pulling him out. I don't know. It just has. It's not just every character is their own individual task or thing that you can interact with. They have made it so that it feels more naturalistic, I guess.
How long is the game, do you know?
No clue.
Yeah.
More than an hour.
Are you? Okay, yeah.
About an hour. Yeah. I mentioned that this was a rude game. There's some swearing. There's some sexual bits. A character put a hot dog through a hole in the fence while I was walking by. They're like, "Hey, you want a hot dog?" And
I mean, people are entitled to their own sexual proclivities, but I ain't spending any more time on it.
We can't mention Bobcatter every week.
I can try me, I'll do it.
It also has it's a bit of a mixed medium game.
What you talking about?
When I first loaded it up, there's film footage of some sort of 19-somethings era Britain in probably the particular town that they're sort of setting this in, or the same vibe. And then that shows up kind of multiple times, I guess. And so you have this, I don't know, really interesting setup, is really interesting intro that sort of sets your expectations of the real world vibe to associate this animated town in.
This is a classic. We don't have the budget to shoot this for real, but here's the vibe, and now you're going to imagine that onto the animation.
Less that, and it's more just because it's old film footage that seems like, it's not specifically filmed for this. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's just a vibe check.
It's just a vibe check of bringing a bit of old-timiness, I guess, bringing you back into this era of Britain where it's kind of modern, but then also, I don't know. Yeah. I don't know how to explain it, but it's just a really interesting use, I find, of this sort of mixed
And it doesn't
medium.
have the characters in it. It's
No.
the environment.
It's just shots of the environment and shots of a bustling market square. Yeah, I think it's 1940s, 1950s-ish time, I want to say. Maybe it's later.
Remind me of the premise of the, I know it doesn't matter, it's just a vehicle for gameplay, but what's the character doing?
Meeting with the mayor for something, I can't remember.
That's right.
Yeah. I can't remember what it is. But yeah, and also the game starts with some interviews with the meat shop owner and the person from the bakery, and they just these funny characters of them, advertisements of them selling their products. One of the things is we have peas. They're not quite peas, they're not quite beans. Or there's
Also broad beans.
Also broad beans. So I can't exactly put my finger on it, even though honestly it might be this hot sauce getting to my brain, because this is doing a number on me. But it's yeah.
Okay, and so what do you think that? I guess I'm trying to get you've described the vibe well. You've described what it feels like to play, and I guess I'm trying to figure out how much, like, what happens, I guess, which doesn't really matter. But, like, do you think the meeting with the mayor's, like, end of Act 1 or, like, the thing that end of the episode? Or do you think that's, like, the game will end when you finally get back to that meeting?
Maybe the game ends. Maybe all this is just buggering around until you get there.
What's the fail state? Can you die, or it's just puzzle games? You just get stuck, I guess.
No, and yeah, I've gotten stuck multiple times. And it's just
so
you hit stuff enough or you jump around enough until you, like there was a well.
Yeah.
And solving this was to jump down the well, but I spent so much time in the garden just hitting the different veggies and stuff like that where it's like, I swear to God, one of these things will just allow something to happen.
Yeah. Has there ever been a situation where you have to hit something twice?
No, except the dialogue.
Yeah.
Dialogue.
Okay. Well, that'll be a solution at some point.
Probably.
Every game has a point. Every puzzle game has a point where it's like, now, a mechanic reframed in a new light.
Yeah.
It'll be double hit.
It'll be double hit.
Or double jump.
I would love a double jump. I was jumping around just for the fun of double jumping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Spring, spring!
Spring, spring!
Spring, spring!
The menus are also great. So they have the film footage that I was mentioning before. Here's an example of it, by the way, just so you can see.
Prepped it on their phone.
Get the vibe. So it's very grey, very kind of drab. But on the menu, the options are all in like the stupid way that British people talk.
Go on then. Faff. Sithy.
So it's like, go on then is...
Yeah. Go on.
Continue. Play. Fuss about. What is it? Yeah. Faff. That's the settings. Faffing about.
Faff. Yep.
And then there's like leave, exit, quit.
Jeez, that's obscure.
So
wow.
Yeah. And one of the first things you get, and I think that because when I was looking at the menus before, there are options without these slang ways of saying stuff or the written out ways that people abbreviate stuff. One of the first questions is in that sort of text, and there's an answer in that same way saying, basically, I understand this, or yeah, mate, get what you mean. And then there's an option that says, I don't get what you're saying.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I get it. So I clicked that. And I think that's why I have the text saying that stuff. And then other people don't.
Yeah.
Because
you need that because, like, what if people don't speak English as a first language or, like, haven't been exposed to those dialects? Like, especially for menus and options, you need people to be able to understand that.
It's also a really interesting way to present that where it's... You're just presenting someone with the text, and if they don't understand what it's saying, it's like...
Rather than being like, hello and welcome to Thank Goodness You're Here, this game features some text that has... variation in British English. Would you like? It's like, what does that even mean?
Yeah.
It's
like if I showed you, I don't know, Chinese writing, like Mandarin. Is Mandarin just the way the vocab, or is that included with the?
It's a language.
It's a language, but I don't know if it was just the vocational. What is spoken, but then the written is something.
I'm not
else.
sure if Han Chinese and Mandarin Chinese use the same characters or not. I don't know, but I don't know.
It's like if I showed you a thing of a different language and you saw like a question,
something unintelligible, and then a thing that said "I don't understand."
I don't understand, and then you just pick that one. Yeah.
It's also like a you know how some games give you like a tutorial level or like a grading level at the start. Like, how good are you at, like, if it's an action game, they'll be like, here, try out this level and we'll tell you what level you think you should play at. It's kind of like that.
Yeah, it's kind of like that.
A sorting mechanism.
Yeah, it really is. So, great game. It's made in Unity, I think, as well. So that's just a funny little
Love to see that.
extra bit of detail.
What happened with Unity? Did they fix their shit?
Or I think everyone forced them to fix their stuff, which is good.
Good.
But this is a really accessible game. It's a fun little puzzle game. It's really cutesy. It has great humor. This is one of the games that I'd recommend to like anyone.
Yeah. This sounds fun.
Yeah.
What's it on?
Everything.
Everything's on everything.
It's on PC. It's on Mac. I just played it this morning on Mac. It's on Switch. It's on PlayStation. It's on Xbox. It's on bloody everything. Go and play it.
Go on then.
I'm seeing this rise of these. Very good. I'm seeing the rise of these games. I think it sort of started, or Untitled Goose Game really sort of kicked it off. And now, thank goodness you're here. And then soon there's a Melbourne game, I think by Toot Games or something, and then it's just you're someone with like long arms or something.
Okay.
But it's in that same sort of style, same sort of gameplay. Yeah, it's a fun time. Highly recommend. Thank goodness you're here. It's worth starting if you can give it a shot. And it's pretty cheap. It's like $25 or something.
That sounds great.
Yeah, excellent.
Wonderful.
Well, recommend.
For everyone, you said.
For everyone. 18 plus.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Like I said, there's effing and jeffing. At one point, you knock on a door, and then a woman from inside says, no, a man from inside says, we'll be 5 minutes. A woman from inside says, no, we won't. Great stuff. Great stuff. Very
nice.
fun. All right. Well, I take a more sip of this hot sauce because honestly, I think I'm liking the taste of this.
Yeah?
I think I'm Stockholm syndroming myself.
Okay.